Welcome to Recovering Addict. I am your host, LT, and I'm an alcoholic addict.
I'm your co-host, Felice Weaver. I'm married to an alcoholic addict. Here for any questions you may have about codependency, co-addiction, or just living with an addict.
Because that addict was me, and I 2 times in my life hit rock bottom due to alcohol and drugs. The early 2000 meth addict tweaker, committed a felony. I got locked up for a year and spent 4 months in a halfway house, 3 years of probation, blah, blah, blah. Got a nudge from the judge, scared me away from meth. Spent some time clean, some years and years clean, completely abstinent from drugs and alcohol, but I wasn't working a program, and I didn't realize what addiction was. So in my early 30s, I started casually drinking. By the time I hit 40, I was a fifth a night drinker and gallons on the weekends. I was a pass out, blackout, tip over drunk my last year and a half, 2 years of drinking. And then I had to check myself into a detox center, and then I spent 4 months in 5 months, in an intense outpatient program where I completed up to step 5 before transitioning. And now I'm here with you all in recovery, trying to learn as much as I can so that when I'm alone, when I'm by myself with my thoughts, I have the tools to prevent me from ever relapsing, closing back doors, writing relapse prevention plans, and finding a community that's going to keep me accountable to staying in recovery, not just keeping me from relapsing, right? But keeping my mind in a recovery mindset, living to my moral standards, and being a happy person. At the end of the day, we just want to be happy and live a happy life. So that's what these tools teach us how to do. And that's what we do here on this channel. We go through books. We educate ourselves through this stuff. We're on our 3rd book right now called Addictive Thinking, Understanding Self-Deception, and topic for tonight is going to be addictive thinking and relapse, because we are not just addicts. Yeah, we are, right? But we have a mind that is addicted. It thinks addictively. We have addictive thinking. And because of that, we don't see the world like other people see it. We have a different perspective. And our perspective is not always right. That's what got us into the trouble that got us into. If you're tuned into this channel and you're curious about sobriety, you probably understand what I'm talking about when I say got us into some trouble. Got us into places we don't want to be, took us down a road that we didn't want to go down. Now we see that our life is unmanageable, and we want to make it manageable again. And abstinence from drugs and alcohol is the only way to do it. And whatever it takes to get you there, do it. Whatever it takes. But let's learn what it is and what it means to relapse, because we learned from our other book called Staying Sober right here that you're on the road to recovery or you're on the road to relapse. The road to recovery is walking up a down escalator. As soon as you start moving down, that is when you relapse. We want to stop that process, or at least catch yourself when you're in that process. And we're going to go through some of that stuff of what that looks like today. Something that we haven't done for a while is taken our inventory. Since we're talking about relapse, we're talking about relapse prevention. I figured today we will talk about our inventory, take our inventory, what our character defects are and what our character assets are. We'll read our thought for the day. We'll jump into this book. But right now, we'll just say hi to everybody in the chat.
Hello, everybody. Facebook user, I do believe that's Adrian. Yes, it is. Hello, we got John. Good evening, family. Good evening, John. Amber's back. She sounds like she went camping. Had a good time.
Lucky.
I'm a little jealous, not gonna lie. Love, 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 love camping. Hi, Derek. Nice to see you. And Marilyn, I talked to you a little bit earlier. I'm glad you popped in. To Amber's channel, put the shovel down. Nice to see a name I knew. Cherie, welcome. I feel good. Jolie.
Hi, Jolie.
Jolie. Hi, Teeter.
Evening, Mr. Teeter.
Love the Teeter. Lish, your hike looked beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful day for a hike.
Layla, welcome, Layla.
Leah. Layla?
I see double L's.
Where?
L.
Layla.
I don't see a dot.
We
love Layla.
I'm a bad reader, so sorry about that. But if you're new here, thanks for joining us. If you want, let us know about yourself. What's your sobriety date, drug of choice, and all that stuff, so we can give you a high five, pat on the back. And if you are still a suffering addict and you're in your addiction, let us know so we can
Leela?
give you a high five, pat on the back, and give you all the support you'll ever need. Well, not ever need, but a huge support that will help you in your recovery, because we are a bridge to a community that is greater than ourselves. It's a higher power in a sense, and I'm not talking theologically. I'm talking group consciousness, because what we need as addicts is fellowship. And on top of fellowship, we need fellowship around people who understand what we've gone through. And trust me, I'm getting to know the people in the chat, in the Discord really well. And yeah, we have a lot of the same experiences with drugs and alcohol.
Yes. And we got Petey.
Petey, that dude is
Hello,
marching
Petey.
through recovery. I love it.
Raylene,
how are you?
Welcome.
Yeah, so glad you're here too.
Asia.
Woo, look at the Broncos
Mr.
mask. Look at that.
Mikey, turn it down. Mikey's over there watching. Our teacher loves your shirt. Hey, David.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Hey, David, welcome, brother.
Shree said blah, blah, blah is Aubrey's motto.
Oh, that is odd. Well, I learned it from Mob. I still think from people.
We got Link Weaver in the house and in this house. TJ, hello. It was
What's
nice
up,
talking
brother?
to you earlier today, too.
How you doing, TJ?
Thanks for tuning in. Music lover, welcome.
Music lover.
Lover of the music.
Hey, whoever, I know who's in there, but all y'all that joined the Zoom today and we went through Philosophy 101, kind of just a little crash course in philosophy. Thanks, man. That made me feel good. Our brain is like a muscle. And I think those types of conversations and that type of thought, and just to throw it out there and just chew on it, I enjoyed it. It can get frustrating at times or boring even, but I think I enjoyed that Zoom meeting quite a bit. Looking forward to next Sunday night.
And then we have the Merc.
He's an oak.
Such a legend right there. Lynn B.
Merc is a legend.
180 days, not down, sober today. Congratulations,
180.
Lynn B. That's amazing.
She has done a 180 in her life, folks.
Very, very proud. Very proud. Mandy Lori, we're talking to you today, ma'am. Oh,
We're talking to
it
you.
just jumped. It just jumped on me. Hate when it does that. I don't want to miss nobody.
Christy in the house.
There she is. Boom.
What's up, Christy? If you guys remember on show,
We got Misty.
hey Misty, what's up, Mr. Red? What's going on, brother? Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Loves the shirt. I seen a Polly in there too.
Mr. Pinch.
Leela. So Leela, aka Booger.
Booger. Oh, that's Booger.
That's Booger.
Sweet.
Thanks to you again.
Nerds.
Polly Pinch. Hi, Polly.
Thanks, Polly.
The Aussie Desmond Cook. There he is. Hello.
The
Brittany.
great and the wise Desmond Cook.
Hello, Brittany. Green-eyed cat. Welcome.
What's up, B?
You guys are all just blowing out T's mind with this Discord business.
Yeah, totally loving it. Totally loving it. All right.
Hey, Mo.
Is that everybody? Hi, Mo.
I think.
I think we said hi to everybody. All right, let's get into our AA
Aaron,
thought of the
I
day.
can't forget my nice neighbor.
Sister. Don't forget our sister, Erin.
Hello. Love you.
Okay, let's get into the AA thought of the day. This one hit me. I hope you guys read it, or if not, I'll read it to you. But this is a good one, and then we're going to take our inventory. You can prove to yourself that life is basically a fundamental and inner attitude. Life is basically your attitude. Just try to remember, okay, y'all do this with me. Think about last week. Think about some trouble that you had on your mind last week. Just try to remember what troubled you most a week ago. You'll probably find it difficult to remember. So why then should you underlie, worry, or fret over the problems that rise today? If you can hardly remember the little bit of trouble from last week, why trip out over it this week? Your attitude toward them can be changed by putting yourself and your problem in God's hands and trusting Him to see that everything will turn out all right, provided you are trying to do the right thing. Your changed mental attitude toward your problem relieves you of their burden. You can face them without fear. So here's our question of the day. Has my mental attitude changed? I just noticed mine before coming onto this live stream because I was looking for my book so that we could take our inventory. Did not find it, but Linky hooked me up and found a book that has one in it. I didn't even get mad. I don't even think I said the F word.
Mm-mm.
That's Can I get a hallelujah?
Hallelujah. Another thing I noticed, you don't have road rage anymore.
Link says I don't have road rage anymore.
Good on what's coming.
Amen. So here's our meditation of the day. You cannot see the future. It's a blessing that you can't. You cannot bear to know all the future. That is why God only reveals it to you day by day. The first step each day is to lay your will before God as an offering, ready for God to do what is best for you. Be sure that if you trust God, what he does for you will be for the best. The second step is to be confident that God is powerful enough to do anything he wills, and that no miracle in human lives is impossible with him. Then leave the future to God. Our prayer of the day is, I pray that I may gladly leave my future in God's hands. I pray that I may be confident that good things will happen as long as I'm on the right path. I agree. I think good things will happen as long as we stay in recovery. And when I say stay in recovery, that's the road to recovery. That's keeping your mind in recovery, keeping your mind on positive and gratitude, not dwelling on negative things. Okay, so go ahead.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you very much. And yes, LT was at the neighbor's house fact checking everything I said.
No, I wasn't. I was being a man. I changed a bumper.
He did. He was taking the bumper off.
I got my hands greasy for the first time in months.
Yeah. They did a good job. Looks nice. Truck looks amazing.
So the way that we here in recovery stay in recovery is to keep ourselves in check. How do we keep ourselves in check? By taking our inventory. What the heck is our inventory? Your character defects. What the heck are your character defects? Well, let me show you. Right here. Go ahead and take a screenshot of this on your phone if you want. In 3, 2, 1. Now look at the very bottom of the page. It says spend quality time looking at your day. Okay, think about, now it's 8 o'clock. It's late for some. It's early for others in Australia. But think about your day, okay? Put a number rating for each of these defects as we go through them. You use 1 for mild, 2 for moderate, and 3 for severe. Now that you guys got a screenshot of that, let's take our character defects. So lack of impatience. Impatience is a character defect. Think about your day and where were you impatient? Were you impatient with your children when they were driving you nuts? Were you impatient when you couldn't get what you wanted and you wanted it now? Today, what happened today? What happened yesterday if you're an Australian? Lack of patience, annoyance because of delay, opposition, restless, eagerness to go somewhere or to do something. 1 to 3, mild, 1, 3, severe. Where was your patience today? 2, procrastination, to put something off, doing something that should have been done now until later. What did you procrastinate? Mild, 1, 3. Anything throughout your day you could have gotten done today, but you procrastinated. That's a character defect. Promptness.
Laundry. Huh? It's a 2 for laundry.
2 for laundry for Felice. She's right in the middle. Promptness. And there's a reason we take our character defect, because this keeps us in check. This lets our mind know, are we on the road to recovery or on the road to relapse? If we are living in our character defects, guess what road you're on? Relapse. If you're living in your character assets, guess what road you're on? Recovery. This is practice. This does not happen overnight. This is not easy. It gets easier, but it's not easy. Number 3, laziness. Not willing to work, exert one's physical, mental, emotional, and or spiritual, putting off responsibility. I think laziness mentally, our Zoom meeting put us at a very mild level. Everybody that was in our Zoom meeting today exerted a ton of mental energy, and I think we all did well. Criticizing. How many of y'all have been criticizing lately? To focus on people or things for the purpose of devaluating them and building yourself up. Gossiping, talking behind somebody's back, putting them down to make yourself look good is criticizing. What is the opposite of criticizing? Is to be non-judgmental. False pride. Any pride in self that is dishonest, not based on true, honest appraisal of self. False pride. 1, 2, or 3. The opposite of that, the character asset, would be humility. Number 6 is self-importance, having given an exaggerated opinion of your own importance. I'm so important. Everybody stops and looks at me. Everybody's thinking about me constantly, and everything everybody's doing is because of me. Self-importance. Did you have that in your life today? Self-condemnation, where you're blaming yourself inaccurately and putting yourself down. Oh, I'm a piece of crap. I'm stupid. When that's not accurate. That's self-condemnation. Dishonesty. How many lies did you tell today? Did you cheat on a test? Did you cheat to save some money? Breaking the rules? Stealing? What about insincerity? Number 9, the deceptive. Insincerity is to be deceptive, to have a conversation with somebody. Oh, yay, how's it going? Oh, I really enjoy talking to you, and walk off like, ugh, not being sincere. Number 10 is self-justification, making excuses for your negative thoughts. Self-justification. Oh, it's like that because of this. When, you're justifying things that aren't right. Making excuses for your negative thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, or needless explanation of yourself. Number 11 is self-pity, distorted thoughts that you are being treated unfair. 12 is jealousy, intolerance of any rival for the possession of something or someone you regard as belonging to you. When I would get jealous with Felice, I felt I owned her. She's mine. That's jealousy. I own nobody. You own nobody. What is the opposite of jealousy? Trust. Envy. Wanting or coveting something or some advantage belonging to another. The Bible says, do not covet thy neighbor, right? Don't covet thy neighbor's wife, their house, their dog, their sheep, their pig. Number 14 is vulgar, immoral thinking. Vulgar, coarse, crude, indecent, or obscene language and or behavior. Number 14, immoral thinking. Number 15, did anybody have anger today? Destructive anger. Remember, righteous anger is okay. Destructive anger is hurting others, hurting yourself, or inanimate objects. You get mad and throw something, right? I took a bumper off, even slammed my thumb, got a little purple mark, didn't say the F word. So normally, a year and a half ago, I would have thrown the tool through the wall. So today, my day, if I lay these out, I am living in my character assets. Not every day is like this, but today's a good day. Resentment, ongoing destructive thoughts, holding grudges. Is there someone in your life, when you think about them, you immediately get anxiety and you start having evil thoughts about them? Resentment for something you perceive that they've done to you. And then number 17 is negative thinking. To inaccurately think negatively about your situation, your circumstance in life. The opposite of that would be positive thinking. So has your mind been in negative thinking today? So on those 17 character defects, you can pretty well base where you're at in your walk on the road to either relapse or to recovery. If you are heavy in the numbers, if you have a lot of 2s and 3s, check yourself. You are probably on the road to relapse. If you are lows, 1s, and 2s, you're probably doing pretty good on the road to recovery. Everybody's different. It's subjective how you even answer these. Could you show that sheet again? Very thoughtful. On its way. Here it comes. Opportunity for a screenshot coming in 3, 2, 1. And whoops, let me get rid of that comment. Click it. Somebody told me that today. Click it or ticket. I think it was Merck.
That's funny.
Everybody get that? Good.
So
Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Christy, sorry, realized on the replay. She kept calling me Leonard.
That's okay.
We've talked about that after. I love that you called him Leonard. That's what I call him too.
There's like 4 people in the world that call me Leonard. Felice, Stephanie calls me Leonard. Brandy, it's all girls. Brandy calls me Leonard.
You don't listen to us if we call you.
Tell him why you call me Leonard.
Because he doesn't listen. I could yell LT for days and he won't turn around, but I'm like, Leonard, and he's like, so I call him Leonard. That feels weird to say LT now. You're Leonard.
Yeah, Leonard's my grandpa's name.
Or, hey, babe. Hey, babe.
Let me know in the chat, where you guys at? Road to recovery or road to relapse today? Sherry scored a 16. That's not too shabby.
is there a workbook?
The workbook I'm reading these out of, Jacqueline, was from my IOP. So yes, technically there is. And I'm sure you could find it other places, but the program that my facility put together, it's out of there. I got that from them. I'll add that to my to-do list. Hold on.
But Aubrey made a sheet.
Oh yeah, Aubrey
made a sheet on
All right.
Facebook.
Yeah, if you're in the private Facebook group, go down to files, I think it is.
Great
Yeah.
time for a plug.
Yeah. So come and join us on our private Facebook group. Definitely hit us up in the Discord. That thing is amazing. Definitely hit the Discord. But in the private Facebook group, there's files. And if you click into that file, this Aubrey put together a Word document for this character defect sheet. Oh, great. Sure, he's calling me Leonard now.
Added girl.
Middle names like Jebediah. Or Bartholomew. Take it, John. That's awesome. So let me know in the chat. Road to recovery, road to relapse. Jamie's on recovery, right on. Shut up, Des. Jamie's in recovery. I love it. Aaron says, hi, beautiful Millie.
Hi. She's all fresh and clean. So fresh and so clean.
Clean and sober.
Oh, you guys want to hear Millie cry?
You're going to need a learning course before you join Discord. Yeah, we're going to have Nate walk us through what he's actually doing in that thing. But I've jumped into it, and I spent the first night you guys saw major changes. I was up with Nate and Green Eyed Cat for, I bet you 3 hours. I was up late that night, but they took me through a lesson I'll never forget. And then I spent a good few hours in there the next day. Once you get to understand how it works, fabulous. It's Facebook, it's Instagram, it's Zoom, it's everything all in one. And join us there. We got recovery topics. We just sit and impromptu. You just click into this voice thing and you can just hang out with people. I drove around getting stuff for my bumper today while hanging out with a bunch of people in recovery. It was really awesome. Who's our Facebook user saying hi, fam?
Adrian.
Oh.
Or cool. It was. Hold on. Is it a new one?
Music lover. I lost it. Damn it.
Jen. What's Jen?
Hey, Jen. We tried Discord. It said my elbow was invalid. Oh, email was invalid. Oh, really? Remind me to, well, if you go to the links in these videos, I put in the description of these videos now the invite to Discord. That may be something on your end. You may need to create a new account or something. I'm not sure, but the Discord's free. Just jump on in. Everything on this channel is free. I don't even know why I say that. Except for t-shirts.
The only thing we ask for is your love and admiration.
Can we get some love?
We accept free hugs. We accept free hugs.
Bob the creepy clown. Bobo the creepy clown on relapse. Huh? What's going on with you, brother? Oh, he's on Periscope. Awesome. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching on that, brother. Tell me why you're on relapse. Let us know what's going on in your heart, what's going on in your mind. How long do you have clean? What, as much as you want to disclose. You don't have to if you don't want to, but here you're going to find the tools to help you stay on that road to recovery, and we're going to go over that here very shortly. My printer's been out of service, and there ain't any of that direct. Hundreds of dollars. I know, stupid printers. I hate getting ink for the printer. Yes. Good job, Lisa. That's where you want to be. And John has just volunteered to do 101 and 102 this fall as a professor of Discord. Did I hear that right, John? Not yet, Mr. Teeter. We will, though. We haven't put the license plate on. I told Fleece to do it. No, I was putting on a bumper today. I was working on the other vehicle.
It will go on. I haven't done it because we didn't get the other license plate yet. I was just going to do it all at once.
Oh, yeah, that's what we got temp tags. So Fleece, we were waiting.
It will go on there, though. I will send a picture on the Discord. Somebody said they were on the road to relapse. Did you see that one?
I did. He's on Periscope.
No. Amber.
Yeah.
She said, well, according to this, on the road to relapse, working on character defects is so hard.
Amber, and that's why we do this, to kind of shake you to realize, uh-oh, I better make some changes, because a lot of times when you're on the road to relapse, it's so sneaky, it's so cunning that denial starts to happen again. You remember the denial we were in while we were in active addiction? That denial comes back to us because we are addictive thinkers. And when we're on that road to relapse, it's so cunning that that denial happens again. That's why we take our inventory, to make sure, it's a checkpoint. You come to these checkpoints and you do an assessment of self. And then you go, oh, okay, what changes do I need to make? It brings everything to the forefront of your mind. It speaks things into reality. So you're not living in imagination. You know what I mean?
Did you
Good
see this
things to
name,
do.
Miss Creepy's Crawl Space?
Miss Creepy's Crawl Space.
That's a cool name. I need to look at John's dinner, Miss Creepy Crawl
It did.
Space.
That was like some fancy dinner, dude.
There was one more I wanted to point out. Oh, did we say shout out to Candy Cakes in Sawyer House?
Sawyer House.
And has anybody
Anchored Hearts.
Anybody heard from Marcus?
Marcus, where are you?
Marcus, you better not still be
I
where
hope
you
you're
were.
not in the ditch.
Reach out. I don't know how to get a hold of you. I can't remember if you're Facebook or
Marcus,
YouTube.
where are you?
Marcus. But yes, shout out to Arizona. Ooh, Mandy, 634 days. Nice.
Dang, Mandy, good job. But have been on the road to
Ah.
relapse lately, trying to get out of the frame of them. Good. Thank you, group, for being so loving and kind. I'm telling y'all, we have one of the best communities I've ever seen, and it's not we're just a bridge, and the people in the community's active participation with open, loving, non-judgmental arms keeps it that way.
Facebook. I'll have to look him up. Maybe I can message Marcus on Facebook.
Okay, you guys, relapse.
Oh, welcome, Sapper.
Oh, what's up, Kyle? So we took our inventory.
Yeah, we see you now.
Oh, cool. There you are.
Game time.
It's game time. Lace up your sneakers. We got work to do. All right, chat. Addictive thinking and relapse. We took our inventory. You should know where you're at. So here's a warning. A reoccurrence of addictive thinking often precedes relapse into drinking or using of other chemicals. Reoccurrence of addictive thinking precedes relapse into drinking or the use of chemicals. What that means is what we've already learned. We're walking up the down escalator. The moment you stop moving up and that escalator starts carrying you down, that moment you held still and stopped moving is when relapse happens. Drinking is when you stay on that non-moving road down and hit the bottom. Distorted thinking can also follow relapse. So, addictive thinking precedes it. Distorting thinking after you have relapsed follows it. Distorted thinking can also follow relapse as a person attempts to return to a 12-step program. That game.
Mad game of cards going on back there.
Yeah.
They're playing War, the longest game ever.
No, we're playing Slap Above 10.
Did y'all catch that? Because recovery is a growth process, relapse is an interruption of that growth. Relapse is interrupting your growth. Get this stuff out of my way. But relapse does not mean going back to square one. So if you do relapse, you got to realize you're not going back to square one, okay? You relapsed. Okay, let's talk about that. Yet with almost without exception, that is what the relapser is likely to think. If you've experienced relapse, you may be feeling like, oh my gosh, I am back at square one. I have to start all over. After 2 years or 12 years of recovery, a person who relapses may feel back at rock bottom. This conclusion is mistaken, however, and can negatively affect recovery from relapse. So understand, distorted thinking, addictive thinking happens before you start to relapse. You start relapsing, you relapse, right? And now your distorted thinking is going to follow this. And this addictive thinking, this distorted thinking, can negatively affect how you recover from a relapse. So we're in recovery. We're abstinent from drugs and alcohol. You've made growth. You've learned tools. And bam, you relapse, okay? It happens. 90% of the people I have seen, I think there's only one person, two people. I may only know one or two people from my group that has not relapsed. I relapsed. So if you do relapse, now you have to recover from that. And guess what that did to you? It's playing mind tricks on you, right? Back to our addictive thinking, our old habits, our old character defects, all this anxiety welling up because of our relapses. So the conclusion is mistaken, and this can negatively affect your recovery. Many people who relapse think, what's the use? I've tried and it doesn't work. I might as well give up the fight. I tried. It didn't work. The program doesn't work for me. I relapsed. Oh, well, I'm giving up. Trisha, nice to see you.
Yeah.
The escalator comparison is on point. Yeah. Got to keep, you can't stop. Heck no.
Oh, hey, Lori, glad you're here.
And we learned that from this book right here, Staying Sober. I highly suggest reading it. And we may go through it again because I'm guaranteed I'm reading it again, but maybe we'll go through it again because that was a phenomenal book. Okay? So if you relapse and you start having that feeling of hopelessness, like screw it, I give up, I'm not doing it no more, listen to what he says. The problem is they are beginning with the conclusion rather than looking at the facts of their situation. Remember, we're learning critical thinking on Sunday nights, philosophical thinkings. We're directed towards God in that meeting particularly, but learning the tools of logical stop, pause, think, act thinking. Start looking at the facts of your situation, the progress they've made, the skills you've learned, the rewards of recovery. Look at that instead. The person who has relapsed wishes to continue the use of chemicals. Let me reread that again and try to make it a little more clear. It says the problem is when somebody relapses that they are beginning with the conclusion rather than looking at the facts of their situation. The progress they've made, the skills you've learned, the rewards of recovery. Instead, the person who has relapsed wishes to continue the use of chemicals. When you relapse and you start having that negative thinking, I might as well give up, you wish to continue using chemicals. You agree with that? That's what this doctor says. The ideas of futility and despair are nothing but typical addictive thinker, the purpose of which is to promote continued use of the chemical. What? You mean when I start justifying that might as well give up and continue use, it's because I want to? Because I want to continue to use and I'm going to self-justify with that excuse to continue my use in drugs and alcohol? The futility and the despair are nothing but typical addictive thinking, the purpose of which is to promote continued use of chemicals. The correct conclusion, as the following story illustrates, is that relapse doesn't wipe out the gains of recovery addicts have made to that point. Just because you relapse, let's say I relapse right now. Everything I've learned and all I've achieved is not erased. It's a bump in the road, and I must recover from that. Okay? And the following story illustrates this.
I like that.
Me too. That's
Have you guys relapsed and felt that way? That all your progress was erased?
Whoa.
Agreed. Oh, sorry, your feelings were all wonky. You doing any better?
One of them days. I have had many of those days. I hope just know this too shall pass. When I'm in a super excited, good mood and have a great day like today, you know what I tell myself? This too shall pass. And I'll be having a wonky day maybe tomorrow. And that day will pass too. Thank you, John.
100%.
Here is story time. It's called Slippery Spots. One winter day, I had a package in the mail at the post office. My car battery was dead, and I had to walk 8 blocks to the post office. I tried to watch for slippery spots on the sidewalk, but in spite of my caution, I slipped and fell hard. While I fortunately did not break any bones, I did feel a jolting pain. I may or may not have uttered a few explicatives at the person who should have shoveled the sidewalk more thoroughly, but I knew that whether I fell because of the deceptive appearance of the sidewalk or my negligence, I was not going to get to the post office unless I got up and I walked, pain and all. As I limped on, I was even more alert for possible slippery spots that might bring about another fall. Break that down. We'll talk about it. Let me finish it and we'll talk about it. In spite of my painful fall, I was 2 blocks closer to my destination than when I had started. The fall did not erase the progress I had made. This is how we can view relapse. Regardless of its pain, relapse is not a regression back to square one. The progress made up to that point of relapse can't be denied. An addict who relapses must start from that point and, as with the icy slip, be even more alert to those things that can cause us to relapse. He slipped and fell. He's actually 2 blocks closer. It didn't throw him back to the go, you know. He didn't return to go. He didn't return back to his house. He was still 2 blocks he just had to get up. And guess what? It brought an alertness to his mind and he walked more cautiously. Approach relapse like that. Actually, don't relapse. And then anyway, you got this problem.
This is Rachel. You guys relapsed hard on my codependency this weekend. Hell, glad to see your faces. Glad you're back. Do you want to elaborate? You want to chat about it? You have any questions?
Yeah, what did that look like?
Let us know how that.
That's interesting.
Curious what relapse on codependency looks like.
I'm sure it can happen. Felice did one time that I recall pretty vividly.
Yeah, that's the only one I remember.
In the bedroom? Yeah.
And then it snapped me out of myself. And I was like, oh yeah, that was fun.
Interesting.
It was a lesson I needed to learn though.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool. Glad you brought that up.
Tree is yet to relapse.
Good. And you don't have to relapse. This is not something you have to do. Especially if you learn the school tools and the skills and you can make it aware of before a relapse. It's not something that has to be done.
Certain days are difficult.
Kyle, same.
Micromanaging your husband's recovery.
Ooh.
I could see that for sure. Because he's not doing it the way you think he should.
You're not recovering like I think you should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to step back and let him recover the way they recover.
That's his recovery, yeah.
I get that for sure. But I keep in mind it is a yet because I listen and learn and truly believe it will always be just around the corner. That point, Teeter, and that's very true. Alcohol numbs the emotional pain that will never go away. I have to stay very busy on those days.
Mm-hmm.
I just let it pass, just get through it.
And that'll eventually get easier too.
Self-pity, bitterness, etc. That's from Rachel about her husband and
probably a little bit of resentment in there too.
Yeah, for sure.
Resentment and what's step 4 get rid of? Oh, resentment.
Yeah. So if you don't mind my asking, what did you learn from it? What did you learn from it?
She recognized it. That's positive.
Yeah, that's awesome for sure. Let's see, Miss Creepy's Crawlspace. I've relapsed once since I decided to live sober life. I am on day 8, almost 9 of sobriety. I can't go back. That way of life is no life at all.
Amen.
And like
good.
I said, that
30 to 60
you
days?
walk a bit more cautiously.
Yeah, you're probably walking a bit more cautiously. I know I did. When I relapsed, and my relapse was stupid. I'm 47 days in. I still haven't bought into a program. And I think I'm powerful. I'm omniscient, right? I am in charge. You know who I think I am? I think I'm God. And I got control over alcohol. So you know what? I'm going to buy 3 shots. I'm going to take 3 shots and I'll prove to myself and everybody around me that I don't have to drink any more than that. And I'll go to bed. And on top of that, I'm going to drink it when I want to, not when I go buy it and immediately drink it. So I bought a little half a pint, little 3-shotter, stuck it in the top drawer, went out to eat, came back. It's time to relax. So I was like, now I'll drink it. 3 shots. And it was stupid. Went to the counselor, told on myself. He said, let me get this straight. So you have a drinking problem. You checked yourself into the hospital to detox. You came to this IOP because you have a drinking problem. And so now you're drinking to prove you don't have a drinking problem. And I was like, oh my gosh, I am an idiot. That was 47 days in. That's why if you look at my key tags, you will see white, orange, white, orange.
Yeah, so Rachel says in a theme park asking him what girl he's checking out, sex addiction recovery. That one would be really difficult because that's an intimate thing.
Yeah.
That would be really hard to separate the micromanaging from. I think I would have a harder time with that than I would alcohol. But then again, maybe not, because if you ever wanted to cheat, I'd say bye. Like, that's your decision. I can't control you. So I don't know. Maybe I'd have to think that one through.
And on that topic, let's check out Cassie's quote of the day.
Good.
Good evening, my recovering addict family. I'm here tonight, as always, with your motivational quote on recovering addicts. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Take the moment and make it perfect. Zoe Sayward.
Ooh la la.
And as always, you guys know what to do. Let's bring it together and continue to spread that love.
Amen. Thank you, Cassie.
Amen.
So, relapse of thinking. A shrewd observer, whether therapist or sponsor, may detect reoccurrence of addictive thinking that is likely to result in relapse. If this is corrected, relapse may be forestalled. For example, a recovering person who begins exhibiting signs of impatience has likely slipped back into the addict's concept of time. Someone who claims to not need as many meetings because she is now in control is probably back into omnipotence. I'm in control, right? Someone wallowing in remorse may be regressing into shame. Someone who reverts to rationalization or projecting blame, or who becomes unusually sensitive to other people's behavior may be experiencing hypersensitivity or self-righteousness of the addict. Becoming ill-tempered or pessimistic can signal the depression or the morbid expectation characteristics of addictive thinking. So that's why we took our inventory for that paragraph right there. If you are a shrewd observer of yourself, you could detect a reoccurrence of addictive thinking that's likely to result into relapse. That's why as soon as you stop moving up that down escalator, that's when relapse happens. If you can correct it right then, you will not go back to using drugs or alcohol. Becoming ill-tempered or pessimistic can signal the depression or the morbid expectation characteristic of addictive thinking. Any reoccurrence of what we have come to recognize as addictive thinking may be prelude to relapse. Prompt detection of the relapse into addictive thinking and reinstitution of healthy thinking may help the addict avoid the chemical relapse. As soon as you recognize you're not thinking healthy, you can correct it and force yourself, discipline yourself to think. This brain was given to us to use, to not let it run us, but we can run it. We can take control over it. I mean, trust me, that's easier said than done. I get it. I know from experience. And sometimes it takes me, sometimes I go lay down and I have to gather all energy in me and just focus on my brain to get it to think positively. And I don't quit until I'm in control. You know how you get there, right? The first thought you have no control of, the second thought you can kick out. And you may have to do that over and over and over again for 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes until finally, okay, the engine's running on the right healthy track. You got to learn the signs of relapse this is your personal recovery. You have to learn yourself. We said this the other night, and it's been said, it's some philosopher or some like Aristotle or something, but one who can conquer himself is greater than a guy who can conquer an entire nation.
Derek says, I had someone say to me one day, Derek, you had 5 years and you relapsed. I said, not right away. The first to go was my meetings, and then I slowly withdrew myself from the fellowship. That's that downhill on
That stinking thinking.
Polly says, just always remember drugs and alcohol are like a gang. You're either involved 100% or you're not involved at all.
Blood in, blood out.
801.
801 655 5936.
Thanks, babe.
Multiple addictions are a real thing. Drugs, sex, gambling, nicotine, coffee, whatever it is.
100%.
All in agreement there. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here and supporting us. If we're adding value, please do hit that like button. If you can, share it out and help us grow. I heard this, so I watch a guy. His name is Sean Cannell, right? He helps me learn ways to market what we're doing, right? And somebody go, oh, you're selfish. You're trying to get 1 million subscribers. And I was thinking, you kind of get that guilty feeling when you're asking for subscribers to grow. And I'm listening to his channel, and he said, look, if you're adding value and you're helping people, why would you not want 1 million people to watch? And I was like, oh, that's true. We're adding value, I hope. And if we're helping, then we should want to grow a greater community to reach more people who suffer just like we did. So that helped my guilt when I was asking for people to help us grow.
Yeah. Cal says it's been 15 years, still hurts the same. Just try to move on and realize that you can't change the past. Drinking won't bring them back, and you just have to stay strong and trust God to get through.
Yeah, I'm glad you were in that Zoom meeting with us today, brother.
Oh,
I like your thoughts on the word too.
Mr. Crawl Space. Oh, your name is probably one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
I'm praying that the family and friends I am gaining during my road to continued sobriety are ones that will keep for a lifetime.
Yeah, and they are. Well, I don't know your exact situation, but in my experience from my IOP, I have gained friends that just become like I call them family, because I can reach out at any time, and the tools that we learn from the non-judgmental, to not take things personally, to when, maybe I don't see him for 3 weeks, but we can run into each other, or I could call him and we instantly just pick up right where we left off the last time we saw each other. And it's just beautiful. And you just have this connection of trust, and you can tell them anything. I'm right there with you, Miss Creepy. Sunray, what's going on? Yes, you're here.
Yo, much peace to all in here. I hope we are all feeling well. So much thanks to LT and Felice, to the backing singer. Let's get hashtag recover addict to
1K.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Hey, Sunray, if you're not in our Discord, jump in there. Please post that link.
I will put it in there
Thank you.
for all.
Yeah, join us in Discord, man. That place is really fun. I'm looking at it right now.
Burning down the house.
Cool.
Oh, the names today, the names. Thank you. I'm glad you found us too. Burning down the house. Yes.
We recover better together. Or like Aubrey says, we recover better together.
Thanks, Sunray. That's really kind of you to say. We recover better together.
Amen, John.
Yeah, reach out to all these people, Creepy Crawly Space. They're all amazing people.
Yep. Awesome.
Oh, sweet. Your book's tomorrow.
Brother, I will set one up. So like I said in the Discord, y'all know that I've put my letter of resignation in so I can focus on this and the stuff that I'm doing with the community full time. I'm going to have that philosophical, like spiritual meeting on Sunday nights. Saturday at 3 is our recovery Zoom. That's where we get head on. Where are you at with recovery? Where's your head? Where's your heart? What can we do to help you out? Are you hurting? And I'm going to open up 1 or 2 more Zooms throughout the week. And one of them is going to be a legit walk through the Word of God. It's going to be a Bible study. I've studied, bro.
Burns down the house.
And we can get
Check 'em out.
crazy and
That's
do
all.
like this book right here. If we want to get into some systematic theology by Wayne Grudem, I mean, that's deep, deep.
Mark says, check out Burns Down the House interview over at Real Talk Recovery.
Oh,
With
yeah.
Nicole.
Heck yeah. I didn't know that. We have to check that out.
Oh, check them out.
Or we can do Fundamentals of the Faith by John MacArthur. Or we can just go through the book of John, the Gospel of John.
All right, I am posting Discord. Oh.
Okay, y'all. Hypothetically speaking, you relapsed. You're back into your program. Now you're going to re-enter a 12-step program. What are you thinking about? How are you going to feel? You got to recover from your relapse. What do you have to look forward to? You got to remember that when you first got into recovery, you had the pink cloud, right? The joyous emotions, the warm, welcoming love from everybody right then, right? But now you've been in recovery for a little bit. You got some tools under your belt, and you slipped and fell on the ice, and you freaking relapsed. And now you got to re-enter this program. Just like, was it Derek that said that he was 5 years and stopped going to AA? He had to re-enter the program, right? So many people become frustrated on re-entering AA, NA, or any other type of program. They remember the wonderful feelings, the glow, the warmth that they experienced on entering the program the first time, and they're disappointed when they don't get this same feeling upon re-entry. He says, but there's only one time, you only get one first kiss. The experience can never be duplicated. One first entering the 12-step program, addicts find others like themselves. They are made to feel welcome, comfortable, and they become part of a recovery population. The person returning to the program looking for this feeling will likely be frustrated and disappointed. It won't feel so fresh and new. Expect that if you've relapsed, or if you do relapse, which don't do it. Don't relapse. No reason to. He equates it to cocaine addicts. He says that cocaine addicts say that throughout their addiction, they tried in vain to recapture the high of their first use. How many of you done that? That first high you chased the rest of your life. Been there, done that. But they could never do it. Attempting to re-experience the first high of recovery is quite similar. Just like that first high in drugs. So remember this, for it is important. Be realistic about relapse. The growth in sobriety that precedes relapse is not lost. And the person can't expect the original experience in recovery the second time around. These two are facts that addictive thinking often distorts. Keep it logical and understand your distorted thoughts and your addictive thinking when it comes to relapse. Don't relapse, for one. Find the tools. That's why we took our inventory at the beginning of the stream. Watch for those things. And then if you do relapse, just know when you go back to AA, it's not going to be as warm and as fuzzy as you remembered it to be the first time you were there.
Sounds like Brian agrees. It's like chasing that first high.
Yep, that's right.
Peter's having a moment with himself, realizing and recognizing all of his addictions and confessing them. That is scary. It can be overwhelming.
That's good.
Being honest with yourself, Mr. Teeter. That's true.
You gotta catch him in a Zoom meeting, man.
Oh, that's funny. Ah.
Oh, really?
Well, there's more out there.
I'd like to hear that whole story. You can read it.
What was it from? Hold on. I don't know. I'm just going to read it. That's very true. Going back to action was difficult, not only because of my attitude more than anything. Now, however, after 2 months already, I'm back in the fold and working the program 110%.
Ray,
Get
good job,
Ray.
brother. I was in action with Ray. He's a recovery brothery. He's a
Recovery brothery.
recovery brother here local with me. Recovery brother.
Yes, another great piece of info. Be aware of relapse. The first step to solving the issue is recognize there is an issue.
At the beginning of the stream, I like to read that 24 hours a day from AA. At the end of the stream, I like to read NAs just for today. Today's topic is going to be about what we are here, a group, a community, and we all have a conscious, right? And it's called group consciousness. So working with others is the only beginning of service work. Working with others is only the beginning of service work. Basic text, page 59. Service work calls for a selfless devotion to carrying the message to the still suffering addict. But our attitude of service cannot stop there. Service also requires that we look at ourselves and our motives. Our efforts at service make us highly visible to the fellowship. In NA, it is easy to become a big fish in a little pond. Our controlling attitude can easily drive away the newcomer. You see a reoccurring theme here in recovery about our attitudes and self-checking, self-awareness, where we're at, looking at our motives. Why do we do things? Thinking. It's time that we start thinking. That's recovery. Group consciousness is one of the most important principles in service. It is vital to remember that the group consciousness is what counts, not just our individual beliefs and desires. We lend our thoughts and our beliefs to development of group conscious. Then, when that consciousness arises, we accept its guidance. The key is working with others, not against them. If we remember that we strive together to develop collective conscious, we will see that all sides have equal merit. When all the discussions are all over, all sides will come back together and carry a unified message. We're all one group right here, all one great group conscious. It is often tempting to think that we know what is best for the group. If we remember that it doesn't matter if we get our way, then it is easier to allow service to be the vehicle it is intended to be, a way to carry the message to the addict who still suffers. And at that point, I want to shout out Kyle, who helped me with Discord, and Green-Eyed Cat. Your guys' service to this community, valuable. Thank you very much.
He was so excited.
Who?
You, about the Discord. He's like, check this out. I was like, that's really cool. It was really cool.
So just for today, I will take part in the development of group consciousness. I will remember that the world won't end just because I don't get my way. I will think about our primary purpose in all my service efforts. I will reach out to a newcomer.
I like you. Back to this discussion. Des says, this is my knife.
This is my knife.
Mark said, Des, that not a knife.
That's not a knife. That's not a knife. We back on this again.
A vote for Merck is a vote for America. America. What's that? Practice that one, Australians. America. It's all right.
America.
Why do you always do that with my hair?
Burns and down the house. That's true. You really do have to retrain your brain to its normal state.
That's right.
It's crazy how.
That's what I really enjoyed about tonight's Zoom meeting. Because this is a spiritual program that I like to promote, the 12-step program. Most programs you encounter are of spiritual nature, right? Relying on a power greater than yourself. And it's not a theological debate at step 2, but at some point it kind of becomes, well, what is God? What is higher power? You know, that kind of stuff. So Sunday nights at 6, we just had one a couple of hours ago, and we did some philosophical thinking, and it was quite entertaining. But you know what we did is we focused, we thought, we were purposely driving our brain. And now hopefully by the next Sunday's 6 o'clock group meeting, we will have focused, intentional thoughts throughout and actually contemplated and chewed on things philosophically.
Yes. Yes. Thanks, Ray.
Thanks for being here, Ray.
Nathan, she said he's awesome too.
Yes, Nate. That's Nate.
Oh, Nate.
He's a bro
Same.
from the UK, so we call him Nathan.
Nathan, not Nathan.
Then just try and spell this and see if you
Understand. Shri is gonna twerk for Merc.
You're gonna twerk? Really?
For Merc.
I'll bring you on live right now to watch you twerk.
Yes.
Hold on.
Let's do it.
Peters has some confessing to do. He feels guilty.
Okay, so
He said he's just said alcoholic, but he needed to get this off his chest. His addictions are alcohol, sex, nicotine, caffeine. There they are. Thank you, Teeter, for being honest.
Teeter, good on you for throwing that out there. And group chat, good on you for making Teeter feel comfortable.
Yes. Comfortable enough to talk. That's what we're here for.
Love you guys.
Want to talk about things. You're amazing too, Facebook user.
Even though we're not
Lisa.
related, we still talk about our emotions.
Hashtag twerk for Merc, John. Hashtag.
Forgot the hashtag, bro. Thank you.
Thanks. They're pretty cute.
Thank you, Mr. Burns. Yeah, I'm assuming you're a Mr.
No, I saw a husband, unless you could still be a Mister.
Des, that was fun. I loved Kyle's response. I just want to know how the damn what did he say? I want to know how the transmitter works.
Oh, yeah.
You lost me on that one.
He said something in the chat. He could get that thing torn apart and put back together faster, and he could figure out the
The philosophical side.
philosophical jabber or something to that effect.
Yeah, that was cool. If you're new here, please subscribe and like that. Hit that like button if you gained value, and thank you for watching. We're going to now say the Serenity Prayer because we do need wisdom to understand. If you break down the Serenity Prayer, it's not just this drab saying that we just say over and over and over again. If you really contemplate what the Serenity Prayer means, we are asking to be able to change situations that we can change and understand. Because if you look at the Serenity Prayer, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Because there's certain things that we cannot change, but we try to change, and that causes us to feel anxiety, anger, blah, blah, blah. And there are other things that we can change, but we take them as like, I can't ever change that, when you actually could, and it would make your life better. So we're asking God's wisdom to know the difference. So think about the prayer philosophically. And it's a very good prayer. And that's why we say it every night. Ever since I broke it down, if you break things down word by word and study it, it brings things to light that usually we just say, just blah, 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 like Aubrey would say. It's Mrs., by the way.
Mrs. is writing. I hope you feel like you got something off your chest today, and
Right
you don't
on.
feel the weight of your world on your shoulders, Teeter.
More words. Wait,
We do have a
actions.
newcomer. Welcome,
Speak
Crystal.
just as loud.
Rewatch.
Oh, Guzman, Crystal, thank you.
Unless you've been watching the whole time. Glad you're here.
I'm glad you're here. This is the end, but this is a show about recovery and relapse prevention. And if you're a still suffering addict, look, we're here to support you.
No need to be lonely, Mr. Music Lover.
Oh, that's
Got a lot of
tough
friends
one.
in here.
That's a tough one.
A lot of friends in here.
You can be in a crowd of people and feel lonely.
That's true. Just gotta reach out and chat.
Join our Discord and enjoy the fellowship in there too. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. Thank you, God, and just please protect the still suffering addict and bring them into the fold of recovery and community wherever they may find one. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Tomorrow we will be back going through, let me tell you what we're going to do tomorrow.
Tomorrow
We're going through this book. That's what we're doing. We'll be on chapter 22. Ooh, this is going to be a good one. The frustrations of growth. Recovery is not easy, and it's frustrating sometimes. Tomorrow at 8 o'clock, we'll be back, just like every night. But if you want to get a hold of me or anybody in the chat, hit us up in that Discord. We're always there. Until next time, please do not put yourself in a high-risk situation. Stay strong, work your program, and remember, we recover better together.